Hey guys, what's up? It's Danielle. Welcome back to my channel. For today's video, I'm going to show you a really easy cat toy that you can crochet, and a little kitty disclaimer. You can see his paws right here. Mr. Baki, my baby cat, absolutely loves yarn, and he's already been trying to steal it. So just like I said, kitty disclaimer. He's probably going to try to run off with it. But anyways, these toys are really great for any kind of cat. I make them specifically for my cats because you can use like little scraps and everything. And you can also stuff it with catnip. You can stuff them with food or toys, or they can just have it as something to play with. So these are really simple toys to make, and he's already going to town. Okay, excuse me, sir. So I'm going to show you with two different types of yarn. I prefer to use cotton yarn primarily when I make these because you can not only use, catnip in these and you can stuff it with it, but also with acrylic yarn, I feel like they, when cats play with it, they eat the fibers, and I don't really like the thought of that. So I try to get, cotton yarn for them, and I'll wash it before I make their toys. And then I also have this sort of chenille fabric, this Bernat, whatever you want to call it, sort of yarn, like for making blankets. My younger cat, who you see right here, he loves this. I've been making his toys out of it since he was a baby, and they're kind of like special. So he knows if he gets one of these, then it's like his gotcha day or Christmas. But anyways, we're going to be working in the round. And again, kitty disclaimer, because he's going to be all up in here. So you've been warned. All right. I'm using a 4.25 millimeter hook. I, again, prefer to use smaller hooks for making these just because, again, you can fill them with catnip. And if you're using catnip that has already been ground up and it's a little bit more fine, it's going to prevent the catnip from coming out as much. If you're going to use a larger sized hook, I would recommend using like bigger pieces of catnip. Again, you can always put like little treats or, their food in there. It just really depends on what you want to do. So again, we're going to be working in the round for these. All you're going to do is make a magic circle, and you're going to chain 3. I've never filmed myself crocheting, so bear with me here. 1, 2, and 3. Then you're going to work 11 double crochets into the center of the ring. We're going to count the chain 3 as a double. So you should have 12 by the end. So you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, oops. There we go. 8, 9, 10, and 11. Again, counting that first chain 3 as one of the doubles. Then you're going to pull your tail and make sure it's nice and tight. And you can already kind of tell, like, there's not a whole lot that's going to get through there. So we're just going to chain 3 at the top, or sorry, not chain 3. We're going to slip stitch, at the top of our chain 3. And we're going to chain 3 after that. Now you can work but like you can work your end in. It's not going to matter a whole lot because this is going to be in the middle of the toy. So it really just depends on how particular you want to be. Generally, I tend to just, you know, crochet this into the toy itself. So we have our chain 3, and let me just do this. So we have our chain 3, and we're going to work 2 double crochets into the same space as our chain 3. And again, you'll leave the tail out. You can incorporate it into the project. I'm incorporating mine in. And you're just going to do 2 double crochets in every stitch until you get to the end. And I will see you guys at the end. All right, that last double crochet, I used the space where we did the slip stitch into the chain 3 to start the next row. So now just gonna slip stitch into the top of the chain 3, and then you're gonna chain 3 again. And now all we're gonna do is we're gonna start decreasing. So we already have this right here. You're gonna go back into, or actually, excuse me, you're gonna go into the next stitch and you're going to do crochet, sorry, double crochet 2 together. So, and you're just gonna go into every single stitch. So we're not expanding anymore. We're trying to close this thing up. And you're just going to use every single stitch. And again, we're doing crochet 2 together. Well, double crochet 2 together, whatever you want to call it. And we're just going to do that all the way around. Till we get back to the end. Oops. There we go. All right. And you can see it's kind of turning into like this deflated balloon situation. So I will see you guys at the end. This time I'm leaving the space where we slip stitched, and I still have that chain 3, so I'm going to slip stitch into the top of the chain 3 as soon as I find it. And as soon as I can get my hook in there. Come on, bro. It's the only bad thing about having big hands and using small crochet hooks. Sometimes the two do not cooperate. All right. Oh, I had that for a second. Okay. So now we have like this deflated balloon situation. And this is where we're basically done. So all I do is I start chaining, and you can make the tail however short or long you want. So I like to give it a little bit of a tail just because when, you know, your cats are batting it around, it gives them a little something extra. So just however many you think is good. And then just gonna cut it, pull out my hook, pull that tight. And again, this is why I said you might want to use catnip that is not like really finely ground. I mean, obviously you can go another round and you can make it, you know, make the opening even smaller if you're doing just one for catnip. This one, I'm going to put their treats in, and I can just kind of throw it. And my cats, at least my younger one, likes to play fetch with these. So it's kind of fun for them because it has a little tail. And, you know, like I said, you can put their treats or their toys in here. So it's a lot of fun for them. And it also is kind of the shape of a ball. So they can bat it around, and it's just, like I said, it's really nice if you have leftover yarn from other projects. And yeah, so I'm going to crochet one using this yarn, and I'll show you what it looks like afterwards. But again, just super simple. You can also, I've done this before, I've turned these into little jellyfish. So you just add, you know, like the tentacles to the bottom, and then you have your little jellyfish toy for your cats. But I'll show you what it looks like using this sort of yarn as well. All right, something I want to mention really quickly if you're going to use thicker yarn like this is after you are done with the first row, or whatever you want to call it. I've already chained 3. This is where you want to start the decrease, because otherwise it's going to be too big and cumbersome. I mean, unless your cat's into that. Mine personally isn't. So you could either stop here and just let them play with it. These are, I mean, obviously it depends, but in my opinion, these are kind of better if you're going to be stuffing them with catnip. These are sort of better overall as toys, or you can fill them with food or treats. But in my opinion, you want to start the decrease right after you finish the first round, just because otherwise it's going to be way too much for your cat to handle. And again, it's all about preference. The good thing is that you can kind of play around with this, and you don't obviously have to stick to what I'm saying. I was just kind of giving you guys like a baseline to go off of, but that's just what I've picked up on over the years as far as making them for my cats and also my mom's cats. I still have to make some for my brother's cats. Probably do that for them for Christmas, but yeah, you can see why I said you want to start the decrease in the second round, just because it is, you know, a thicker yarn. So already we're basically at the same size, if not larger, than the one where I made it out of the cotton yarn. And Mr. Baki right here is excited because he knows this is his yarn. I actually do keep this yarn specifically for making his toys, so he gets excited when he sees it. Oops. It's kind of funny, the things we do for our animals, isn't it? And by the way, I'm using an 8mm hook for this, if you're wondering. All right, I'm just going to attempt a slip stitch up here. He's over here waiting with bated breath. So you can see the opening is a little bit smaller. I mean, it's not anything too terrible, but this is where I'm going to start making the tail. Not too much of one, because he's not really into that. Et voila. So, like I said, super simple, super easy, great if you have scrap yarn, and you can stuff them with treats, you can stuff them with their food or catnip, and they just, I don't know, I think they make really great toys. I actually find these all over my house. So anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. I love you all, and I'll talk to you on my next video. Bye, guys.